Imagine a world where every citizen truly grasps the simple, yet profound principles that shape our economy. Imagine the power of a society where people are armed, not with empty political slogans or misleading talking points, but with clear, logical thinking about the real forces that drive prosperity, or, on the flip side, economic disaster. Today, we're delving into Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell, a transformative book that cuts through the noise and empowers us to see the economy and societal structures with crystal-clear vision. Sowell's work challenges deeply held beliefs and dissects the most popular economic myths perpetuated by collectivist and Marxist ideologies. Thomas Sowell is more than just an economist. He's a public intellectual who has made it his life's work to demystify economic concepts for ordinary people. With Basic Economics, he aims to strip away the jargon and the unnecessary complexities. He argues that understanding economics shouldn't require a degree in math or years of specialized education, because economics is fundamentally about human choices, about how we allocate scarce resources in a world of unlimited wants. And these decisions impact every aspect of our daily lives, from the price of our groceries to the taxes we pay. One of the central themes in Sowell's work is that economic realities, such as scarcity and trade-offs, cannot be wished away by good intentions or utopian visions. This critique hits directly at the heart of collectivist and Marxist ideas, which often rely on an idealistic notion that government planning or collective ownership can eliminate scarcity or redistribute resources without consequence. Sowell systematically dismantles these claims by demonstrating how ignoring economic realities leads to inefficiencies and unintended consequences. The concept of scarcity is crucial to understanding why grandiose promises of wealth redistribution or equal outcomes fail. In a world of finite resources, every choice has a cost. Sowell emphasizes that when governments allocate resources to one area, they inherently take them away from another. This flies in the face of collectivist theories that suggest governments can fairly distribute resources without trade-offs. Sowell points out that these trade-offs exist whether or not policymakers acknowledge them, and any attempt to ignore scarcity ultimately leads to greater economic hardship for society. Consider an example like housing policy. Rent control laws, which are often implemented to make housing affordable for lower-income people, might seem compassionate at first. However, Sowell explains how these laws disrupt the natural incentives for developers to build more housing. The result? A shortage of housing and deteriorating quality, which ironically harms the very individuals the policy was intended to help. This critique directly challenges the Marxist belief that state intervention can equitably and efficiently manage resources. By focusing on empirical evidence and real-world outcomes, Sowell exposes how top-down economic policies often worsen the problems they aim to solve. One of Sowell's most potent critiques of collectivist thought lies in his discussion of prices as signals. In a free market, prices serve as a communication tool, relaying information about the scarcity or abundance of goods and services. These price signals help coordinate decisions among consumers and producers without any centralized authority. This spontaneous order, as Sowell describes it, is more efficient than any planned economy could ever be. Marxist and collectivist systems, which often advocate for price controls or government-set wages, fail to recognize the role of prices in conveying crucial economic information. When governments interfere with prices, through subsidies, minimum wages, or price ceilings, they distort these signals, leading to misallocation of resources and inefficiencies. Take the example of minimum wage laws. While these laws are intended to help workers earn a living wage, Sowell explains how they can lead to higher unemployment, especially among unskilled workers. Businesses faced with artificially high labor costs may choose to automate jobs or hire fewer employees. The unintended consequence is that those who most need work opportunities are shut out of the job market. Sowell's analysis challenges the Marxist notion that wages can be determined fairly by government decree, underscoring the economic principle that labor, like any other resource, is subject to the laws of supply and demand. Sowell also dives into the role of profits and losses in a market economy. Collectivist and Marxist ideologies often paint profits as exploitative or unnecessary, arguing for a system where resources are distributed based on need rather than market outcomes. But Sowell flips this perspective, explaining how profits serve a critical role in signaling which businesses efficiently meet consumer demands. Conversely, losses indicate which ventures waste resources and should either change or shut down. This accountability mechanism drives innovation and efficiency, ensuring that society's limited resources are used wisely. From Sowell's perspective, the absence of profit incentives in collectivist systems leads to inefficiency and stagnation. Without the discipline of profits and losses, government-run enterprises lack the motivation to innovate or economize. This explains why centrally planned economies often suffer from chronic shortages, long waiting lines, and inferior quality goods and services. The incentive structure in a free market system, Sowell argues, harnesses self-interest to benefit society as a whole, a concept that stands in direct opposition to Marxist economic thought. Another of Sowell's major critiques targets the knowledge problem, a concept originally articulated by Friedrich Hayek. Collectivist and Marxist systems often rely on the assumption that central planners can efficiently allocate resources and make economic decisions for an entire society. But Sowell illustrates that no single entity can possess the vast amount of dispersed information needed to make informed economic choices. Only a decentralized market system, where individuals act based on their unique knowledge and preferences, can achieve efficient outcomes. This critique is a devastating blow to the foundations of Marxist planning. History provides ample evidence that attempts to centrally manage economies lead to resource mismanagement and widespread suffering. The Soviet Union, for example, failed to meet even basic needs for its citizens, not because of a lack of effort or good intentions, but because central planners were incapable of processing the massive amount of information required to coordinate an entire economy. Sowell's analysis highlights the hubris of believing that government officials can make better economic decisions than millions of individuals acting in their own best interest. Sowell doesn't stop at critiquing the inefficiency of collectivist systems. He also addresses the moral implications. Marxist ideologies often claim to champion equality and social justice, but Sowell asks, at what cost? Government control over the economy requires coercion, which inevitably infringes upon personal freedom. He argues that policies designed to redistribute wealth or control markets often end up restricting individual choices and stifling human potential. The moral case against collectivism is rooted in the idea that individuals should have the right to make their own economic decisions without government interference. Finally, Sowell emphasizes that well-intentioned policies often backfire because they fail to account for human behavior. Marxist theories tend to assume that people will work selflessly for the common good under a collectivist regime. However, Sowell points out that incentives matter. People respond to rewards and punishments, and without the prospect of personal gain, there's little motivation to excel or innovate. This insight is key to understanding why socialist economies frequently underperform compared to their capitalist counterparts. In conclusion, Basic Economics is not just a book about markets and prices. It's a thorough critique of collectivist and Marxist ideologies. Sowell's work serves as a reminder that economic principles are grounded in real-world consequences, not utopian dreams. His analysis empowers us to question policies that promise equality and prosperity through government intervention, revealing the often hidden costs and unintended consequences. By understanding these fundamental economic truths, we become better equipped to engage in meaningful discussions about society's future, armed with both logic and evidence. If you found this discussion illuminating, make sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. You can find Amazon links to purchase Sowell's Basic Economics or a free 1-month trial to Amazon's audiobook platform, Audible, as a gift to our listeners. Let's keep exploring, questioning, and understanding the principles that shape freedom in our world together. Check out this follow-up video to arm yourself with the antidote to oppression.